Good afternoon, everyone. Great to be back in Israel for the second time now, hopefully not the last. Also great to be here and talk about how a traditional manufacturing company, basically in the business of producing construction materials, is looking for new opportunities in the market for new ways to improve the lives of our customers and of the end users. Myself, as mentioned before, studied architecture, but I've been working for the REHAU group in different capacities in the US as well as Asia. And since 2020, I've now been building the REHAU New Ventures unit as a corporate venture builder. So we're not a corporate venture capital fund. We really build our own ventures, and I'll tell you a little bit about how we approach this. So here again, just an overview of the REHAU Group. It was founded in 1948, is today still a 100% family-owned company with 20,000 employees in 190 locations. We do about 4 billion euros in turnover. So we have 5 subgroups and are active in the medical device industry, in the automotive supply industry as a first-tier supplier. But we do about half of our turnover, 2 billion euros, in the area of construction materials and also in the area of interior decoration. Construction materials, we do a lot of piping system, PVC windows, but also a lot of components that go into interior finishes and furniture production. In 2020, we decided to basically create a 5th subgroup within our conglomerate group, and that is the REHAU New Ventures Group. And I'll tell you a little bit about what the motivation was to do this. As a company that started processing polymers back in 1948, a new material, we were actually consistently reinventing industries. We basically invented the PVC windows. We changed the way that heating systems were installed by introducing polymer piping systems to this industry. We also revolutionized the way that cabinetry was built on an industrial scale. But as organizations mature and get larger, they basically lose the capacity to innovate because the focus becomes more and more on risk mitigation, on operational performance improvement. And so there's definitely a paradigm shift away from invention. And for us, this does, of course, become at some point a threat. These industries, as they become more internationalized and more competitive, lose runway to really build the basis for a sustainable business. And for us, as a family-owned company, sustainability is key for our future. So at this point, I'd like to point out certain parallels to the construction industry, also a inherently risk-averse industry. The business of construction moves huge amounts of material and basically relies on very empirical methods and time-tested approaches to solving the problem. So that's also an area where to bring in new ways of doing things poses a challenge. So there's that parallel there, and in order to ensure that we are capable to find new opportunities for growth, reinvent ourselves in certain ways, we have built up this corporate venture builder. We focus on markets that are very relevant to our core business. So we've defined search fields in the area of digital construction, which relates very much to the construction industry, but also better living, which relates then very much to the interior design and interior furnishing industry. And these are fields where we have direct market access. So through our different partners, be it in the area of wholesale, be it in the area of construction companies or furniture and cabinet manufacturers, but then also to the tradespeople. So the people that install windows, that install our piping systems, or that then also do the installation for furniture systems. We have insights to these relevant industries. We have access to market players, and we can go looking for problems, pain points that need to be addressed. And that's basically then how we've set up our innovation process. we start very early just trying to understand the pain points that are in the market. We then start to look for different solutions to those pain points, and then really try and focus those problems down to topics that we explore and ultimately accelerate all the way to market entry. So market entry for us is then an investment decision that we would call a seed investment, and basically this gives the project a runway of 18 to 24 months. And in this time, we build a complete venture team to bring this topic to market successfully. So we hire co-founders, give them equity stake in the venture, and then ultimately accompany them to a next financing round, typically Series A. And at this point, as we talk about then further scaling the venture, it could go in different directions. Some projects then might find basically a home back within the REHAU group, something that has a high strategic fit or a very high relevance to the development of the group, or in other cases, we would then look for an exit. And we do this today with over 85 coworkers. We have teams in Germany and also in our innovation hub in Shanghai, China, and Washington, D.C. in the US. And currently we have 8 active ventures that are in relatively early stages, considering that we started back in 2020. But I brought 3 examples with today, which I chose for a certain reason. I think this morning, and also if we look outside with the different startups that are offering technological solutions, the focus is very much on optimizing the still quite traditional process of building buildings and really identifying pain points that are highly specific. And these 3 projects, I think, maybe offer a bit of a different perspective, because we really looked at, what does it mean for users, basically in using buildings after the construction, or what does the process of building a building mean for the homeowner experience. And we heard before that renovating a home or maybe building a new home can be very painful. And so I'm just trying to bring the user or the homeowner a bit more into the spotlight with these 3 examples. So in terms of better living, we all know that our working and living habits changed with the pandemic significantly. Suddenly, we're using homes that were mainly designed for living in family settings as office working spaces. And we all understand that because these rooms weren't designed for that, we immediately have certain deficits in terms of comfort. And so in this still quite early stage project, we looked specifically at the topic of lighting. And I mean, there we also saw that there are huge deficits in terms of the quality of lighting in the home office space. And we worked actually with a startup called Jetlight, which was developing an algorithm to manipulate LED light for long-haul flights in a way that basically influences you so that you can take the edge off of the whole jet lag experience. I mean, we are beings that evolved with sunlight over hundreds of thousands of years. So, basically not being exposed to that or being only dependent on artificial lighting, which is completely consistent, can actually give us what we call social jet lag. So this human-centric lighting solution is now a first step into looking at how we can augment spaces with human-centric lighting. And this is now launching in Germany. We're just ramping up sales now in this darker season before we then see what the market feedback is and then potentially take this project into other markets. So here, very much looking at the user experience in homes. Another example is people that want to build their family home, their private home, or also renovate an existing home. Usually do this for the first time in their lives. It's a huge investment for them, and they have absolutely no experience. So what we've done is create a platform. Again, this is a pilot launch now. We're testing it in the German market, where basically we help the homeowner understand what their needs are for home decoration. So for people who don't afford an architect to accompany them on this journey, we're basically building a platform, an algorithm, and a visualization tool that allows people to find their perfect floor plan, visualizes then their dream home for them, and then makes matchmaking to partners who can either build their home or renovate their apartment. So again, a part of the whole user journey, which I think has a lot of room for improvement, and we're trying to address that in a specific way. The last example I want to show you is what we call Wonderwall, and here we looked at urbanized areas in Asia where you have cities that are growing at high paces, where you have, generally speaking, relatively confined living spaces, and we realized that the way people use their apartments and how they furnish them is actually something that needs to be adaptable over time. So we developed a basically modular furniture system which the homeowners can configure, which basically they can then install in their homes, and as needs change, as maybe also tastes change, parts of this furniture system can be changed and upgraded over time. So also this is something we launched now to the Chinese market this fall, and again, our way of also trying to address changing needs within the built environment. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Thank you very much for your attention, and maybe we can catch up in the aftermath. Thank you.